students, this is Veena, Assistant Professor in the Department of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today, we will try to learn the process of building vocabulary. What is that which will help us in building our vocabulary? To make your communication effective, you must have proper vocabulary. So, to develop this vocabulary, how is that you are going to train yourself? What are the elements which are essential for you in building your vocabulary? And what is that process which will help you in practicing you to develop your vocabulary? And how effective, how good you are in selecting the right words to make the sense of your communication. Communicating is very easy, but how effective you communicate is difficult. And it can attain with the good usage of right vocabulary. If you can use right vocabulary, your communication will become automatically effective. You must know the right meaning of the word, whatever you are talking, whenever you are talking. Your words must understand the situation and also relate the emotions of that particular time. So, that is the greater use of this vocabulary. So, how is that we are going to build our vocabulary in terms of making our communication more and more better is the topic for today. Let us get started. Now, you can define vocabulary as a set of words used in a specific language. Isn't it so simple? Set of words used in a specific language. A language can be anything. But how is the language built? It is built with the words. So, the set of words used in any language could be your vocabulary. Without this vocabulary, is it possible to communicate? Is it possible to express our ideas, thoughts, feelings towards others? No, not at all possible. Of course, you can also use the sign language in the way of the situation demands, but also you have to able to add good vocabulary to your content. Now here, it comprises of all the words that you understand when you read or write something. It comprises of all the words that you understand when you read or write something. That is, it must depend on your understanding. The vocabulary, what you use, must relate to the meaning of the word, what you are using in the conversation or when you are listening to someone. That is, our vocabulary consists of all the words that we understand, feel or comprehend. Remember this thing. Our vocabulary consists of all the words that we understand, that we feel and that we comprehend. That is, our vocabulary is equipped with all the words that are meant for the understanding, that are meant to express the feelings, that are meant to comprehend the situations of time and whatever possibility is. So, here understand the relevance of the usage of the words, how effectively and how correctly you are trying to use these words is more important. Hence, the more effort you put into understanding and the meaning of the word, the stronger your vocabulary grows. The more you understand, the stronger your vocabulary grows. Your notion towards the right understanding, your notion towards the right meaningful words will surely create that effectiveness in your communication. So, try to equip your vocabulary and build your vocabulary in such a way that others get pleasing or attentive towards you. One must be interested to listen to your communication, and that is possible only when you have right words, right vocabulary. Here, what is the importance of rich vocabulary? What is that this rich vocabulary will help you or will place you in? Vocabulary builds over time. It builds over time. It just does not come within a day, isn't it? As a child, can we speak out words? Can we talk words? No. It happened gradually in the process of our growth. In the same way, attaining lot of vocabulary, rich vocabulary is not easy. During the course of our lifespan, we tend to learn them with our understanding according to the situations demand, according to our academical approaches demand. We learn the vocabulary instantly at that time and time. Then it develops with reading and with specific instruction. That is, one possible way you can develop vocabulary is reading. Effective reading. And the second possible thing is specific instruction. If your teacher has given you an instruction to explore on a topic, on that specific instruction, you will look forward for the content which will related to that topic. That means you are going to learn the new words of the vocabulary of that particular content which will relate to that content with specific instruction. So, we have two main things where we will try to include our vocabulary. One is through the reading and the second one is through the specific instruction. Then, a good vocabulary helps you to develop your comprehension skills. It will help you in developing your comprehension skill. How? When you are using right word, of course, it will make others understand rightly your interpretation or your analysis, such that it will develop your understanding. It will develop your intellectual ideas, which will also enhance the ability of increasing the knowledge, expanding the knowledge, and as well as making your communication process effective and master a language. When you take the effort to understand unfamiliar words, okay, we will confront or come across many unfamiliar words. Now, how is that you are trying to make attempt to learn the meaning of those unfamiliar words? How much zeal or how much interest you are showing towards knowing the meaning of that word is very, very important. If you ignore it, if you come across that word once again, then what happens? You will think that I might have understood the meaning then such that I would have understood this sentence again. Then why give that chance? Try to understand and sort the meaning of unfamiliar words then and there, such that it helps to cater the need of your communication process more better and also make you more understandable towards that concept. Then you actually try to understand the entire context in which the word is used. Try to understand the context of the word. Try to put forward in making that sense to that sentence with the usage of that word. And this entire process helps you to understand that the writer is speaker or speaker is trying to say. So, here the entire process revolves around what the writer or what the speaker is trying to say through his words. Now, if you do not know the meaning of the words, then how is that you will understand its essence? So, therefore, try to understand the right meaning of the word. Try to understand and practice the usage of right meaning with the words. Sometimes one word has many synonyms. Understand them. How can I use them in the way of my communication in different situations? Why is that this word has secured so many synonyms? Because it is catering and it is providing the essence of the meaning of the sentences in different situations. That is the reason it is having different synonyms. So how is that I am going to use the possible means of synonyms of that same particular word in the development of my communication should be your interest. In that way, you will gradually develop your way of communication through effective usage of vocabulary. Then, in addition to comprehension skills, a good vocabulary also helps you to articulate your ideas. Articulate is to rotate, to review, to understand, to mold, to cater the needs of the possible situation. You are going to articulate the ideas and thoughts in an effective way. When I am equipped with an idea, how is that I am going to put forward to my colleagues or my neighbors or my relatives, whoever the person may be. So I have to make it presented in front of them with possible and authentic vocabulary such that my idea reaches them effectively. So having an idea is not easy, but making the idea possible to understand to others is also not easy. So you must be able to put forward your thoughts, your expressions, your ideas in the way such that others understand them effectively. With a rich vocabulary, you will not sound repetitive. If you have less vocabulary, you will be sounding repetitive. So with rich vocabulary, with more number of vocabulary and knowing many meanings to one word will also help you in looking unique from others. You will be able to choose the appropriate words and express your ideas in the maximum impact. While you are doing presentations, while you are making your presentations, talking to someone, you will not look clumsier. You look more beautiful because you are not repeating words. You are also using authentic words. Therefore, your communication looks more brighter and also appealing towards others. At the same time, you will also be able to receive and process information in a better way. You will also send the message properly and also you will receive the messages properly with good usage of vocabulary. Another advantage of good vocabulary is that you will be able to create a good impression. You will be able to gain that good impression over your fellow beings, over your team members, because you never make your conversation clumsier, or you don't repeat the words with the same meaning. You will have good vocabulary, good ease and command over your language, which will attract others, which will appeal others. Now, types of vocabulary. Now, what are the types of vocabulary which you can build? Basic, high frequency, subject related. We generally have basic vocabulary, we have high frequency vocabulary, subject related vocabulary. To begin with, you can categorize vocabulary depending on how you use it. Now, how is that you are going to segregate your vocabulary is depends on the purpose or the need, how you are segregating the usage of these words. A rich vocabulary consists of basic vocabulary, high frequency vocabulary and subject related vocabulary. That is a rich vocabulary. If you want to make your vocabulary rich, it must be equipped with all the three. That is the basic vocabulary, high frequency vocabulary and also subject related vocabulary. Ideally, you should pick up words that will help you in your studies. That is, you should build your vocabulary with words that you would use frequently. See that you are using the words at ease. See that the words are fetching the needs of your subject content. See that your words are making very, very good impact over the listeners. So, such that you have to make your vocabulary rich with all the basic elements, with all the high frequency words and with all the subject related words. Finally, you should definitely build your vocabulary depending on your career specialization. So, see that your vocabulary depends on the career specialization. If you are choosing your career, see that the terminology, the words, what you use suits your profession. You are not going to talk or you are not going to use any kind of words which are not suiting your profession. You will be choosing those kinds of words which will help you in the growth of your professional enhancement too. You have to know what are those words which are technically sounding as well as catering the needs of your professional growth. How effective am I going to relate my subject to others? How effective am I going to make others understand the ideas, thoughts and my reports which I am doing it in my profession? So, see that whenever you build your vocabulary in the way of your professional growth, you must be equipped and have awareness over all those perspectives which will enhance your communication more better and in the higher level. Now, vocabulary which is expressive and receptive. Try to understand each of this very carefully. I know it sounds very easy, but while practicing, while communicating, we will ignore these points. But if you try practicing it, if you try utilizing these words, you will be able to make yourself look more effective and also unique among others. You can also categorize vocabulary into two broad categories, expressive and receptive. We have two broad categories of vocabulary. One is expressive and the other is receptive. Now, expressive vocabulary refers to the words that we use to express our thoughts and ideas. I repeat it. Expressive vocabulary refers to the words that we use to express our thoughts and ideas. Words which will express our thoughts, expressions, ideas, our feelings, all these comes under expressive vocabulary. That is, all the words we use for speaking and writing fall under the expressive category, isn't it? The way we use to express our notions, our arguments, our interpretations, our evaluations, our conclusions are all moduled with that particular thought, element and idea. And we are adding those words. We are using those words which put forward the idea of expression of that particular content. So, all those words which we use for speaking, which we use in our writing can fall under the expressive vocabulary. Next, speaking vocabulary comprises of the words that you would generally use in your speech. Now, what is the speaking vocabulary? When you generally speak to others, what are those words? What is the phenomenon of the vocabulary or the stability of the vocabulary or the sense of your vocabulary which is rendering the right communication between you and the receiver? How is that you are making it possible to make your communication more effective in terms of your speech of the vocabulary words, and the usage and the selection of your words will make your communication more authentic and also accurate. Research proves that on average, people have about 10,000 words in their speaking vocabulary. According to research, it says that each and every individual will minimal have 10,000 words for their vocabulary. And how true it is? One must justify with his or her own vocabulary. Now, writing vocabulary refers to the words that you use while writing your ideas or thoughts. Your comfort with the spelling words usually determines your writing vocabulary. When you are asked to write an article or a research paper or any kind of thing, What is that first you do? You try to write with the words or use the words which you know the meaning as well as the spelling. These two elements will help you in making the effective use of words in your writer. But though are the words which are in your vocabulary fetching the need of that content of the article? So, try to understand, try to relocate, try to gain all those words which are related to your subject with the spellings too when it comes to written process. Speech you can do. Here you will not have much concentration on the spelling. But while writing, the spelling is must. You must know the spelling as well as the meaning to make it look authentic in the way of your sentence structures. Next, receptive vocabulary. Now, what is this receptive vocabulary? On the other hand, refers to all the words that you understand while reading books or listening. Remember, reading and listening brings you the input of the language. Language acquisition attains its need and serves the need of the communication when you are receiving the proper content in the form of reading or listening. Now, your receptive vocabulary is that which is equipped to you through the reading and listening process. That means the vocabulary which you have received while you are reading or while you are listening. A friend of you has come to speak to you. Now, he is using all new words in his conversation. Your interest is to know about all the meaning of the vocabulary, what he is using. So, through this, you are able to receive words that will help you in adding them to your vocabulary. So, this is come under your receptive vocabulary. Next, in other words, all the words that you process while receiving information fall under receptive vocabulary. While receiving any information, the words which you listen will fall under the receptive vocabulary. So, whatever you listen, whatever you read will also fetch you receptive vocabulary. So, you must be very attentive enough and also have that interest over the words to add it to your vocabulary. Listening vocabulary includes all the words that you hear and understand. Whatever you hear, whatever you understand, all these fall under receptive vocabulary. So, for this reason, you must be an active listener. You must be an active reader such that it will not deviate you from the meaning of the words. It will help you to understand the meaning of the words and how the words are located in the formation of the sentences. Is it applicable or not? Is it accepted or not? So, try to understand the real essence of the words and their importance to make yourself unique, to stand yourself unique among the group in the way of language acquisition, in the way of good communication. It is very, very important for you to add good and new vocabulary to your dictionary for making your communication process more and more effective. Now, vocabulary, oral and written. Let us try to understand what is oral vocabulary and what is written vocabulary and how is that we are using them. Finally, you can also classify vocabulary into oral and written vocabulary. Here we can also classify it as oral and written. As we have said, receptive and received one. Next, oral vocabulary consists of all the words you use while speaking and all the words you understand while listening. As we already told, it is same like your building vocabulary, isn't it? It's like your receptive vocabulary. What is your receptive vocabulary? All the words that you process while receiving information fall under receptive vocabulary. Here, reading. What you take input as from the reading skill and the listening skill is your receptive vocabulary. And also speaking vocabulary, here it comes under the expressive. Okay, expressive and receptive. In the same way, we also have here oral and written. Under oral vocabulary, what comes under oral vocabulary? That which we receive through the process of reading and listening skill, it comes under the oral vocabulary. Written vocabulary comprises of all the words that you understand while reading and all the words that you use while writing. Not just while reading, but also while writing, you use the words, which you technically know the meaning as well as the spelling. So that fall under the written vocabulary. Now, building vocabulary. How is that you are going to build your vocabulary? With the written or oral. With the receptive vocabulary, what you got enhanced through the skills of reading and listening and through the skills of speaking and writing. Building a rich vocabulary is an experience in itself. It is achieved and acquired through experience. It cannot be attained within a day reading a book. If it is so easy, one can just bring a dictionary and read all the words and understand. Isn't it? It is not so easy. Building vocabulary acquires through your experience. It will develop with your experience. How you are going to understand the words. How you are going to replicate and reuse the words from which you have heard them. Next, not only will help you in your professional life, but it will also open your mind to new worlds. That is, these meanings, these new words will also bring that exposure in you towards the other elements of the world, that which also give awareness over many perspectives, many things happening around you. As you keep learning new words, you will realize how it creates an interest to learn and explore more. How is that you are going to make your interest and explore more about that subject is very, very essential. You will also notice how you can use words in different contexts, thereby improving your communication skills. How many ever words you know, how many ever words you can spell, they can be useful only when you can using them in the way of your communication. How effectively, how accurately, how exclusively you are using the new words, different words in the way of your communication is very, very important for you all to understand in the way of language acquisition. One of the best ways of building a strong vocabulary is to explore the variations of the single word. Now, what is the variation of the single word? A single word will have many synonyms. According to the situation, according to the place, its meaning may change. That means one word has many variations. If you are intelligible, if you are knowledgeable enough to understand these different variants of one single word, of course your vocabulary will build very fast. That is, when you come across a new word, you can try looking up its antonyms and synonyms or its connotation, or check if it is an idiom and so on. A word may be included in all these perspectives. It may have so many antonyms, it may have so many synonyms, it may be an idiom or it may be a connotation. Try to understand different variants of a word such that your vocabulary is not only equipped with many words but also is equipped with many synonyms to a word. Okay, that is very, very important. Antonyms are opposite words, whereas synonyms are words that have the same meaning. So you must be able to know what are the antonyms of a word and what are the synonyms of the word. Idioms are group of words that have meaning different from their literal meanings. You already know idioms are the words which have different meaning according to the situation and time, and they may differ from the literal meaning of that word. Next, connotation refers to the feeling or idea the word generates. You can also check the etymology of a word, that is where the word originates from. Here, it depends on the complete feeling or it depends on the complete idea from where this word was aroused. So, to build a word, to add a word to your vocabulary, try to understand the number of synonyms, the number of antonyms, how can we annotate it, and also how can we use in the form of idioms or structures. So, it may have so many variants, so many phases to make you understand one meaning. So, how accurately you are using these words and how meaningfully you are using these words is very, very important. Now, tips to build a strong vocabulary. What are the tips which can build your vocabulary very quickly and also qualitatively? To begin with, familiarize yourself with the context. For a particular context, for example, if you are about to give a presentation, familiarize yourself with that context. On what you are going to talk. Prepare yourself. Get awareness over that context such that you can select a proper, appropriate vocabulary which suits the speech regarding that context. Now, when you come across a new word, you can infer its meaning to a certain extent by understanding the context in which it is used. Do not shy away from new words and contexts. So, whenever you are coming across new words, new topics, try to understand the context, try to understand its relevance, try to understand its meaning, and then try to utilize and practice it in the way of your communication. Explore the word as much as you can by looking up its antonyms, synonyms, definitions. You are going to sort a word and create that awareness about its synonyms, its antonyms, and its definitions. First, have knowledge over these three entities such that you can use them in different situations to relocate different aspects and expressions with one single word. So, one single word may have different synonyms, different antonyms and definitions. So, which one will suit more better? How is that I am going to use this word in this particular context is more useful and informative. So, try to build your vocabulary in such a way such that you are aptly and accurately using the words. It should not look clumsier using any word anywhere. No, you just feel like this word may suit, so let me use it. But if you do not know the meaning, never use that word. Unless you know proper awareness about a word and you know the meaning of the word, you have to use it. That will really make a good impact in the way of developing your communication skill. Now, reading is the best way to improve your vocabulary. Now, what is the best way to improve your vocabulary? Reading is the best way. So, try to read. As beginner, start with storybooks, start with comics, start with any kind of material which interests you and the thing which you are interested in. This reading will surely help you in building lot of good new words and also new vocabulary which will help you in the way of your development of your communication. In addition, it opens up new worlds and dimensions. Reading and also building your vocabulary will not only help you in developing your good communication skills, but also help you in enhancing and expanding knowledge all over the world. It will expose to all those entities and elements which will help you in development of your intellectual thinking, critical thinking. So try to understand every aspect. Try to be a problem solver in understanding and getting awareness over the words, such that you can build them and use them in the way of your communication. You can start with magazines and short stories. You can also pick up articles in your field of interest. This will help you in gaining that interest, in making you understand the concepts and also adding new words to your content. As you come across new words, circle the words and refer the dictionary to check their meanings. Very important exercise which will surely help you is, if you are coming across new words, try to circle them, try to have a dictionary with you, understand the meaning, try to locate the meaning of the word in the dictionary and understand it then and there, such that when you move forward, the repetition of that word will not confuse you. So, at very one instant, if you do not know the meaning of any word, try to circle it and then pick up a dictionary, locate the meaning of the word and understand its relevance and essence according to that sentence structure, such that you can use it once more and you will not get confused if the same word is used in somewhere or in some context. Next, many a time a word has different meanings. So take your time to check how can you use the word in different contexts. So don't get confused. If a word is used here in one context and the same word is used in another context, you should not get confused, because as we already understood, a word has many synonyms. Depends on the situation, depends on the place and time, the meaning of the word may be changing. So, you must have that awareness over the change of the meaning of the words, and you must be able to understand its relevance and its usage accordingly. Now, as you start exploring new words, write them down in a book. As soon as you explore new words, you will jot down in a book for your reference and for your revision. When you come back, you will able to know that these are the words I have learned newly and at what context, in what situation I am going to use it is also very important. Make an effort to use the words in your conversation or article. Once you have noted down these words, just don't keep it aside. Try to use those words in the way of your conversation, but you must be able to use aptly. It should not be like that I have learned new words, now I will use them anywhere. No. Try to use them authentically and purposefully according to the demand of the situation. It must be suitable to that particular context. You should have all the awareness about it. Then, you should also fix some goals to learn new words on a daily or weekly basis. As mentioned earlier, checking etymology or origin of the word also helps in building vocabulary. Once you have the knowledge over the history of that word, the past of the word, the origin of the word, it will remain with you forever. So, if you really want to understand a new word, try to go back. Try to understand the origin of the word. Try to understand its synonyms. Try to understand its antonyms and try to understand how, where and which context I can use them. If you know the purposeful use of the word and the real need of the word and the essence of the meaning of the word, you can rightly use them in the way of your communication such that it will look very effective and also pleasing to others. Finally, invest in some word board games and puzzles. Try to practice your building vocabulary with puzzling words or word building. We have many practices when we have many puzzle games where you can build your vocabulary. You can use them. Then, games and puzzles are one of the most effective ways of learning anything new. So, this will really help you in building your vocabulary and making use of your vocabulary effective. Oral building games also help in learning new words. Oral word building games also you can play such that your vocabulary becomes more effective, and also you will get to know new words from the oral presentation of your friends. So, listening to the oral building of the words from your friends and also adding them to your vocabulary. First, understand the relevance of the words usage, understand their meanings, and understand how is that, in what situation you are going to use it. So, this way you can build your vocabulary, and building your vocabulary means making your communication more better, effective, and unique from others. So, try to build good vocabulary and try to build new words and add new words, and also practice using these new words in your communication. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.